Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to Utility Sports. And you guys absolutely killed it with our Week 5 predictions and pick'em for the NFL slate. So we're coming at you with our Week 6 predictions here and our pick'em for this week as well. We've got a lot of exciting picks and some exciting matchups this week. There's a lot to talk about. We're also going to be updating you on our record as we go throughout this week. Austin, are you ready for the video?
I'm ready. Everybody hit that subscribe button. If you are new to our channel, it is important to keep up on a weekly basis with this pick'em. So jumping into the video here, we have our pick'em records. Sheldon with a 16-14 record and myself with a 20-10 record. There's a long season, a lot of pick'em yet to go. So let's get right into it.
Right. I'm right here. I'm looking at myself. I'm 4 games back of the Wizard here on the channel. So I'm a little worried if I'm going to be able to catch our football mastermind, Austin. 20-10 record. One key thing is we are recording this before the Sunday night football matchup, before the Chiefs and Bills play. So our records might get updated just a little bit by the next time that you guys end up seeing this going into next week, because of course there still is the Monday night matchup this week and the Sunday night matchup, Bills and Chiefs. So let's jump into it now with the Week 6 bye week teams. Last week there was no bye week games yet, or bye week teams rather. This week, the Atlanta Falcons, New York Jets, both on bye, coming back from London. And then also the New Orleans Saints and the San Francisco 49ers are also on bye week, so they will not be featured in this video. But don't worry, Week 7, they will be coming back. We'll be giving our pick'ems and predictions for that as well. Now, Austin, let's transition into our locks here. We can see it on the screen. You opted for the Kansas City Chiefs over the Washington football team as your lock. Break down to the viewers why you went with those two teams as your lock this week.
I just think Washington's offense is not potent enough to really keep up with Kansas City. Obviously, the strength of Washington's team is that defense, in particular that defensive front. So that's really their best chance in the game, is really getting after Patrick Mahomes. But I don't think that they have the firepower offensively to keep up with Kansas City, because they have not been as stout defensively as we were really hoping for this team this year.
Right. I opted with the Los Angeles Rams myself over the New York Giants. I got the first choice at lock here this week. Austin was probably looking at this as a pretty good lock as well. The Giants offensive line is just going to have issues against Aaron Donald specifically. This Rams team's just got so much talent. I think even with the Giants' really good secondary that they've been able to put together, the Rams just have too much on both ends of the football for the Giants to compete with. These are the locks for this week. Now let's go ahead into the upsets here. Austin, you have the Chargers playing in Baltimore as your upset. And yes, this is an upset despite the records currently, guys. There is a money line bet on the Chargers, plus 144, $100 bet wins $144. Therefore, they are the underdog. Talk about why you took the Chargers over the Ravens.
I think Justin Herbert and the LA Chargers have really figured it out. It was evident this week against Cleveland. It was going to be a tough matchup, but the Chargers pulled through. Justin Herbert is playing at an elite level, and that defense is looking really good on top of it. I think as a whole, this is one of the best well-rounded rosters in the entire league. And as long as Justin Herbert's playing like this, I'm going to probably continue to pick them on a week-to-week basis.
Justin Herbert's looked so phenomenal this year yet again, showing that his rookie season was no fluke. Austin, putting you on the spot here a little bit, where would you rank Justin Herbert among all quarterbacks just with a general grade right now?
I mean, he's playing like a top 5 quarterback as it currently stands. I think that's fair to assume, just because he is just on another level. We did not see him really making this big of a jump once again this year. He had a phenomenal rookie year, but this year, once again, he's playing at a very, very high level at that top 5 range. Definitely could work himself into an MVP conversation with the likes of Tom Brady, Kyler Murray, just to name a few of them. So I love the Chargers, and I want to jump into yours. You have Jacksonville as the upset. Shocking to see Jacksonville as the pick, but does the quarterback situation for Miami play into it?
It does. We've got some question marks right now about who's going to be under center for the Miami Dolphins. Also, this game is taking place in London, which I give a slight home field advantage to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're very well accustomed to London. They've been there quite a bit in recent years. Of course, now Urban Meyer, Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback coach combination, haven't been to London like this team has in the past. However, going across the pond, the Dolphins have been bad all year. They're sitting at 1-4. Jaguars have been equally bad, but they've been in some close games as of late. They've put in some fight. I think that they could actually upset the Dolphins this week in a big upset win. And quick note too for fantasy owners out there, I saw a TikTok today saying that Justin Herbert got benched in some leagues by some guys. Make sure you're playing him week in, week out, because he's going to be putting up big numbers. Also, go ahead, check us out on TikTok. That is in the description of our videos. Love to have you guys go give us a follow on there as well. Moving into Thursday Night Football, Austin, we've got a fun and exciting matchup. We get to see Tom Brady, one of the front runners for MVP so far this year, go up against the Philadelphia Eagles, who had a nice win over the Carolina Panthers today, the day that we're recording this, Austin. Bucks coming in at 4-1, the Eagles at 2-3. They're, again, playing in Philadelphia. We both opted for the Buccaneers. You break down that game. What are some of the key things to follow?
The Buccaneers secondary is the big key for me. They're extremely banged up in that secondary. Philadelphia could exploit that a little bit. The Eagles are playing better than we had anticipated, obviously picked up another win. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have to make sure that they're sound defensively, especially in that secondary. It's really going to come down to the pass rush getting to Jalen Hurts in order for them to truly win this game.
Right. Do you think this game comes down to the wire, or do you think that Tampa Bay walks away with a 2-score victory here?
Tampa Bay's offense has been really good this year, but I think it's going to be a couple possession game. I think they probably win by 10 points or so, maybe 14 in this game. However, Philadelphia is going to put up a very good fight in this first half.
Right. I think the game is going to be close throughout as well. Transitioning here now into the Sunday slate, we've got a lot of awesome games today as well. We got Dolphins at Jaguars. Again, this is the London game. It'll be at 8:30 Central Time, a.m. that is. We had an awesome London game, Jets versus Falcons this week. Next week, we get to look at Dolphins, Jaguars, Austin. Dolphins coming in at 1-4, Jaguars at 0-5. You're going against your own Jaguars with the Dolphins pick. That's probably the popular consensus pick here. Break down why Miami's going to win this game against Jacksonville.
I think Miami in that secondary is going to do a nice job against the Jaguars receivers. Marvin Jones has been really struggling as of late. Laviska Shenault, aside from one catch, was really quiet in this past game. So I think that Jacksonville is not doing a nice job offensively, and they're just killing themselves with mistakes. And defensively, they're having a lot of issues at corner, and it's really not good looks, especially since they traded C.J. Henderson. Overall, this team's a mess. Urban Meyer is a mess. I feel pretty okay, even with a Jacoby Brissett-led Miami Dolphin team, to win in London.
Today, in the London game between Atlanta and New York, we saw Kyle Pitts have his breakout game where he stepped onto the scene in the NFL. My expectation is this week, Dolphins at Jaguars, we see Trevor Lawrence make his statement game in his rookie season. I'm taking the Jaguars here. I have them beating Miami in London, and I'm hoping to see some really good football Sunday morning. I'm very, very excited for this matchup. Moving in now, we got Vikings at Panthers here, Austin. We've got opposite picks again. I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings. You're opting for Carolina. Carolina's made some recent moves, brought in C.J. Henderson. Of course, Stephon Gilmore will not be active yet for this game as he's still on the PUP list. Break down your pick for Carolina, and is Christian McCaffrey's health going to be a factor for you in this pick?
Yeah, I think Christian McCaffrey could be a very difficult matchup for the Minnesota Vikings. But the counterpoint that you have to that is Eric Kendricks is one of the best cover linebackers in the entire NFL. That's how you can kind of neutralize that. But the Minnesota Vikings were very, very close, once again, to losing to the Detroit Lions. They've just not looked that great, especially this past game. I'm going to give the advantage to the home team. I don't think Sam Darnold is going to throw 3 picks in this game, especially against that weak Minnesota secondary, especially at that corner spot. I like Carolina in this game.
I see that there. One key thing about Mike Zimmer's tenure in Minnesota, I think it's fair to say that the Vikings played to the level of their competition. Proved that today against the Detroit Lions. Did not look great, did not pull away in that game when they had opportunities. Very lucky to escape that game in US Bank Stadium with a win in dramatic fashion. But I have them going to Carolina, playing up to the level of the Carolina Panthers. And ultimately, I think that the wideouts there in Minnesota, specifically Justin Jefferson, is going to be too much for Carolina's defense. We'll see how that one plays out. Again, I'm down 4 games. So if you guys are making your pick'ems in your fantasy leagues, maybe you want to opt with Austin's picks as of late. He's been on it a little bit more so than I have been. Moving into Chargers-Ravens here, we have unanimous choice of the Los Angeles Chargers. I learned from this past week, I'm not going to bet against the Los Angeles Chargers anymore. Justin Herbert's playing like an MVP-level player, and this team's just rolling in the right direction. Austin Eckler's been great, and we also have the Ravens playing on a shorter week, of course, with their Monday night matchup. Austin, any other keynotes for this game?
I just think it's going to be big to see how the Baltimore Ravens are able to potentially neutralize Mike Williams, who's been absolutely on fire. Aside from one game this year, he's been absolutely dominant. The Chargers are definitely going to make it difficult on the Ravens in this week.
Quick side note here, Austin, talking about a little bit of fantasy football. Mike Williams has been the megastar for the Chargers out wide, posting phenomenal weeks every single week, basically out there catching touchdowns all the time. Should fantasy owners be looking to trade him at this point, or is he someone they should rely on throughout the rest of the season?
I think you might have to hold him right now. You have to see a couple more break trends in that line just because he has been great every game aside from one. You might want to trade him, try to maximize value, but if you are in a good spot for a championship, I would hold on to him right now.
Right. If you can get a round one running back, someone like Derrick Henry, maybe a Christian McCaffrey, if he comes back healthy, that might be worth doing. Try swinging him for a big time deal. Otherwise, hold on to him. Let him be a star wide receiver for you in fantasy. I agree with you there, Austin. Moving into Rams Giants, we have consensus here again with the Los Angeles Rams. This was my lock for the week. I'm sure you had considered this as well. I think that there's not a lot to talk about this one. The Rams are just a much better team than the New York Giants.
Yep, the Rams are looking really, really good. And against the Giants, who are struggling, they had a ton of injuries. Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones. If they don't have either of those guys, they really stand no chance in this game, unfortunately.
Right. Rams probably going to roll through this one. Tough matchup here for New York, even at MetLife Stadium. Texans at Colts here. We got an interdivision matchup in the AFC South. This division has looked rough this year. Only one team above 500, and that's the Tennessee Titans, only by one game at 3-2. The Texans coming in at 1-4. The Colts are 1-3 before their Monday night matchup. We're both going with the Colts here. And this is a tough one because the Texans have played fairly competitive with some of the teams. Of course, have had a massive blowout loss to the Buffalo Bills earlier in the year. But we both went Colts. Austin, break down your key reasons why the Colts are going to win this game.
It's going to be about establishing the run. Jonathan Taylor should have a big game. Carson Wentz, if he could at least just kind of manage this one, and if they can rely heavily on that run game. I like Indianapolis in this game. I think they have a little more talent defensively as well. So that's why I give them the slight edge. Plus, they are at home.
Right. I think the key thing here with the Texans, when we're talking about the Texans, they've been slightly better than we expected, but they still haven't been good. The Colts have struggled this year as well, but on paper, the Colts are a much better team. And like you said, I think Jonathan Taylor is going to be the key to victory here for Indianapolis. Chiefs at the Washington football team, they're 2-2 before their Sunday night football matchup. Washington football team is 2-3. We're both opting for the Chiefs here. They were your lock. I feel very, very strongly about this game as well. The Chiefs have so much talent on the offensive side of the football. How key do you think that defensive line play for the Washington football team is going to be in any upset chance that they have this week?
They have to completely dominate the line of scrimmage in order to win this game because they're really not going to be able to pick apart this Chiefs secondary. Taylor Heineke doesn't really give that to you. He can manage a game, but he's not going to go knockout for knockout blow with Patrick Mahomes. That's just not who he is. So that's why Washington will struggle in this game.
Most definitely. We're just looking at two different classed offenses. The Kansas City Chiefs, one of the best offenses, if not the best in the NFL. Washington, they're an up-and-coming team. They're just not quite there yet. Kansas City wins this one easily. We got Packers at Bears here. Green Bay, a phenomenal team, 4 straight wins. Had a close win over the Cincinnati Bengals today, the day we're recording this. And the Chicago Bears, surprisingly, 2-game win streak right now. Justin Fields is the starter. We both went with the Packers here, Austin. This game is being played at Soldier Field there in Chicago. What do you think the score differential comes to in this game?
I think this is going to be a close game because, we saw that Cincinnati game. Packers made some key mistakes in that game, but the Green Bay Packers are still going to be able to go into Soldier Field and get the victory. Justin Fields is going to he's going to keep them around in this game, but I think the Packers will pull away in that fourth quarter.
With the Packers winning this game, in both of our opinion, they moved to 5-1. The Bears would fall to 3-3. Is that enough space where the Packers wouldn't look back in the division at that point?
Yeah, I think this is really the Packers division to lose at this point. And if they get the win here, that's kind of the swing point in the season. And I just don't see them losing the lead if they win this week.
I know to start the year, you and I both looked at Minnesota fairly favorably. Looking at their roster, we thought, hey, they have enough talent. They could be a dangerous playoff team. They just haven't lived up to it. The Chicago Bears have some of their own faults as well, leaving Green Bay in the driver's seat there for that NFC North division. Moving forward, we got the Bengals at the Detroit Lions. We had a little bit of a discussion earlier about the Detroit Lions at 0-5. We're both opting for the Cincinnati Bengals. How much of a lock is this game, Austin? If you had to bet, are you putting your money every single time on Cincinnati here?
I feel pretty good about Cincinnati in this game. I think they compare well to the Detroit Lions. They're going to be able to throw the football a lot. I just don't think that the Lions are ready defensively to handle Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon, and that group of playmakers. And Joe Burrow should have a big game here. But Detroit offensively should be able to put up some pretty good numbers, I'd say. I just think that Cincinnati's got a little more firepower.
Right at this point of the year, Jamar Chase has been absolutely electric for the Cincinnati Bengals, putting up big numbers each and every week. He's on pace to have a record-setting rookie wide receiver year. Of course, there's 17 games now, so that does play into it a little bit, but it looks like he's trying to outperform his LSU counterpart, Justin Jefferson. We'll see if he can get it done this year. I expect a big game for him against the Detroit Lions this week here in week 6. Then we got the, I think, game of the week, in my opinion, Cardinals at Browns. Going into Cleveland, the Cardinals are 5-0. Kyler Murray, you had said it basically right after week 1, Austin, that you thought Kyler Murray is going to be right in that MVP discussion. And you've proved to be right so far. The Cardinals have looked so impressive at that 5-0 record. And the Browns, they've been very good. They've lost 2 close games. They're standing at 3-2. They're a team that could very easily be 5-0 had the cards gone right for them as well. We're both opting for the Cardinals here. I think this is a very, very close game, though. How close were you to going with the Browns in this pick?
I was a Baker Mayfield being healthy away from the Browns being my pick. I just think with his overall health, I don't feel super confident in him as a whole. I just think he's not going to be that quarterback that can win you the big game here. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they can really rely on that run, work out of that play action. But with Baker's injury, I think that makes things a little tougher. Definitely going to have to rely on him in this kind of game because it will likely be a shootout in my estimation. And I just think Arizona is much better through the air. Cleveland's much better on the ground. And then Arizona is opportunistic in terms of turnovers, and Cleveland plays a very straight up style of defense. So tough game to pick. I do opt for the Cardinals, though, narrowly. I think this will be close.
Right, one key storyline for me to follow. How do the Browns deal with Kyler Murray's ability to get out of the pocket, extend plays with his legs, and then how does Greedy Williams and Denzel Ward hold up against those elite wide receivers that the Cardinals have had? AJ Green's even looked nice this year. We've seen, of course, D-Hop, he does what he does. Christian Kirk's emerged. Also, Rondale Moore's looked great. There's so many weapons there in Arizona. We'll see if they can get the job done this week. We both expect them to walk out of Cleveland 6-0. Then we've got Cowboys at Patriots. This is a fun matchup this week. Trayvon Diggs has played great all year, 6 interceptions through 5 games. Looking at the Patriots too, very narrow win over the Houston Texans, something I don't think either of us really expected. We thought that game was going to have a little bit more differential between those two sides. We both opted for the Cowboys here. How much of your pick depends on offense versus defense?
I think once again, the Dallas Cowboys have been so good offensively. And once again, they're kind of in that opportunistic defense as well. Trayvon Diggs has played a big part in that, generating so many turnovers himself, which really makes the Cowboys defense look good. But offensively, Dallas is really tough to defend. They got playmakers all over the field. Tony Pollard has emerged as a consistent player as well. You have Ezekiel Elliott. Obviously, Amari Cooper is a very, very talented wide receiver. But for this game, the key here is, can Dallas maintain the football, not turn it over? The New England Patriots are really good at generating pressure in several different ways. It's hard to go into Gillette and win a game, but I think Dallas has it in them. I think they should be the favorite. Dallas
has been phenomenal all year. Remember, a very close game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on opening night of the NFL season. Very easily could look at this team being 5-0 as well with how they've played this year. Austin, what is one key offensive strategy the Patriots could employ to try and get this done against Dallas?
It's really tough because Dallas is so fast defensively. You really want to isolate, or you really want to throw away from Trayvon Diggs. I know that's not obviously a great strategy, but if you're New England, you want to be hitting the second and third corner for Dallas, just considering that I feel they aren't as strong in that area. But if you can really generate some play action, establish the run early, but really pick on the number 2 and 3 corner for Dallas, that's your best shot. I just think Dallas is coming out of here.
Right, that's how Tampa Bay took advantage of Dallas week 1. That's what they've got to come back and do here. New England, we'll see if Mac Jones can get it done the way Tom Brady did for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That will be a fun game to watch as well this week. Moving in now, we've got another divisional matchup of the AFC West, Raiders at Broncos. And I think this is a close game here. The Raiders started out the year 3-0, dropped their last 2 games. Broncos also coming in at 3-2. Teddy Bridgewater surprisingly played, did not get the job done against Pittsburgh, though, this week. We both opted for the Broncos. I was very close to going Raiders here. I considered it. However, the Raiders just have not looked good the last 2 weeks. Kind of turned me off from making that selection for the Broncos. Were you kind of in that same line of thought, Austin, or are you more thinking about how the Broncos have looked rather than how the Raiders have looked?
Yeah, I've been thinking about both in that scenario, but I think Denver definitely offers an opportunity here at home. They're going to be able to run the football effectively. Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams will get it done on the ground against the Raiders. And I think Denver does a really nice job just controlling the football and playing great defense. And that's what they've been, that's kind of the MO, especially over the last 10 years. They've done a really nice job of that. So for the Broncos, they're at home. And they've been able to maintain possession of the football without turning it over a ton. That's where it's really advantageous for them.
I think this week is very, very vital for the Las Vegas Raiders. They've got some internal dysfunction right now with some of the John Gruden stuff going on. We're not going to get too far into that. But this is a big prove-it week for them. Starting out 3-0, dropping 2 straight. If they make it a 3-game losing skid, we could see the Raiders season get out of hand quickly. I think very easily this season could fall apart rapidly for the Las Vegas Raiders unless they get a win this week. I have the Broncos winning, but I do see it as a must-win, actually, for the Las Vegas Raiders. They have to go out and perform. I don't see them getting it done, but I think it's vital for their season that they do. Then we have Seahawks and Steelers for an awesome Sunday night matchup. Of course, the start of the year, this matchup looked a little bit more enticing. We've got Russell Wilson out in this one. Ben Roethlisberger's been really up and down, more so down than up as of late. They did get the win this week, though. We both have the Steelers going. Assuming Russell Wilson was healthy, Austin, my pick would have been the Seahawks. Would that have been the case for you as well?
It would have been, but with Geno Smith, this offense is just totally different. You're really going to have to rely on DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett to make big plays themselves. But the problem is that it's not going to happen. I think DK Metcalf really is going to offer a huge target for Geno Smith, but he's not going to be able to push it down the field as effectively as Russell Wilson. Therefore, really limiting what Tyler Lockett can do as being a true deep threat. So for the Seattle Seahawks, they're going to have to rely on the run. Chris Carson's going to have to absolutely dominate in this game for them to have a chance.
Right. Russell Wilson, one of the best deep ball throwers in the entire NFL. They've built their team around that element of his game, his ability to make and extend plays and also air it out over the top. 2 elite wide receivers going over the top. Geno Smith just doesn't offer that level of ability at the quarterback position. I think Steelers, with their defense, get this one done fairly easily. Then we move in to the Monday night matchup. We've got the Buffalo Bills, who are 3-1 before their Sunday night matchup, versus the Tennessee Titans, who ran all over the Jacksonville Jaguars today. Derrick Henry put up 3 rushing touchdowns, Austin. Which way do you see it going? We both have the Bills. Do you think this is a particularly close matchup in Tennessee?
I think that the Buffalo Bills will win this game pretty handedly because the Titans just, quite frankly, haven't looked that good. I mean, yes, they beat up on Jacksonville, but losing to the Jets, that was a tough loss to swallow. They just aren't looking like the Tennessee that we've seen over the last couple of years. They're definitely worse defensively, and offensively, they got to really get A.J. Brown going. I think that's something that they've been kind of missing this year. Everybody thought they were for sure going to be a playoff team, which it's probable since they are in the AFC South. However, they have not looked nearly as good as we thought. And Buffalo, we don't know the result of this current Sunday Night Football matchup when recording this, but Buffalo is a very good football team, really good offense, and a good defense as well. There's a lot to like about this team. I see them coming out of here probably 2 touchdowns.
Right. I think Josh Allen and that Bills wide receiving core is just a little bit too much for Tennessee to really contend with for a Monday night matchup. The Bills are getting really used to playing in primetime games. They've looked great when they've been asked to do so. And I just think that's more of the same here for Buffalo. They roll through Tennessee. In my opinion, I see a 13-point win here for the Buffalo Bills. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Thanks again so much for watching. If you did, hit that like button on today's video and also subscribe. Remember, this is going to be a series we continue throughout the rest of the weeks of the NFL, even through the playoffs. So if this is something you enjoy, again, hit that subscribe button, like. Thanks again so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you guys in the very next Utility Sports video.